Hello, I'm Nina. I'm one of the Younger Theatre's critics and journalists, and I'm here with Paul from Mind the Gap. Paul is currently an assistant producer at Mind the Gap, which is one of Europe's leading learning disability theatre companies and is based in Bradford. Paul originally moved from Dorset to Bradford to take part in the Making Theatre course and Artist Development course run by Mind the Gap. Then Paul applied for Project Zara with Mind the Gap, and he gained the role of Intern Assistant Producer. And now, due to his amazing work on this, he holds the role of Assistant Producer. Paul has also worked for the Beyond Festival in Leeds, which is a festival focused on artists with learning disabilities. Paul also was a performer at the closing ceremony of the Paralympic Games, a mentor for the Remix, and an intern assistant producer for the Breathe project. Got quite a list of credits here, Paul. It's amazing. Thank you so much for coming on and being interviewed by us.
No, thank you very much for inviting me.
So, first of all, how are you looking after yourself during isolation and lockdown, and what are you doing to keep yourself happy?
I'm having my off and on days. I think like everyone. It's really interesting at the moment. I've been furloughed from both jobs, so it's really an interesting time of where I've been going out for a lot more walks around my local area, which I have never really explored. So that's been really nice. And I've started to write more scripts. So I've written a script. So it's about a 10-minute one. So yeah, that's been interesting.
That's really cool. You've been very productive.
I've tried to be. I've seen a lot of shows that have been on the computer. And that's been interesting. Some good, some bad, some indifferent.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's been your favourite thing that you've seen?
I think because I do producing, I don't have a favourite as such.
Yeah.
I just like seeing new work that people have put on. I mean, one of my favourite shows is Hijinks, Meet Fred. And they've put that show on. They put their show onto computer. And if you haven't, I'm not sure if it's still on, but it was really good, and I really enjoyed seeing that on there. So yeah, that was one of my good ones to see.
Oh, so obviously now is quite a difficult time in the arts, but thinking back to more positive times, you're working with an amazing theatre company with Mind the Gap. And I've read your articles online on disability arts, for example, and you talk massively about making space in the arts for people with disabilities. Obviously, Mind the Gap is an amazing company producing work by artists with learning difficulties or disabilities, and they give a platform to artists with disabilities. Could you explain what makes Mind the Gap so special to our audience?
I mean, for me personally, it's the students and the artists. That's what makes it for me. We are a big family in the company. We are actually at the moment doing a piece called Humans of Mind the Gap, and that's from the influence of Humans of Theatre on Twitter at the moment. So we've got in contact with some of our old, some people that have worked with us in the past.
Yeah.
And have been putting their stories about what they've worked with us on, and how working with Mind the Gap's influenced their careers and what we've done with them. And that's been really nice to go into the past as well. And I also think a major thing with Mind the Gap is that we go for stories that are at the heart of issues. So recently we've been doing Daughters of Fortune, which has been about learning disability and parenthood. And that's been amazing because we've been talking to real life parents about their experiences.
Yeah.
So and we've got a book that's going to be published soon about this and their stories. So yeah, and for me, it's just also just being friends. A
Yeah.
lot of us are just friends, and that's what makes it special. Um, and also looking at what talent there is, because there's so much talent out there, and it's why I came up to Mind the Gap in the first place, was because I saw the talent that was in the company. So
Yeah. So one of the key projects that you've worked on is the Zara project. So how was working on Zara, and how did you find the application process for that in particular?
the application was really interesting. So you had a 20-minute written piece of work,
Okay.
and then you had to go into an interview process. Um, and that was really, it was because you had to work on the computer.
Yeah.
And Mind the Gap made sure that with everything you done, you had the accessibility. So if there was anything that you needed to do with access, they put that in place straight away. And you also had to write about how why you wanted the post. So that was really important. Um, but also they done sessions before. So they did an introduction session. So if you didn't know about producing,
Yeah.
you could go to a session in different areas. So
Okay.
there's a session in Wakefield, there's a session in Bradford, and learn about the skill. And if you wanted to apply for the role. So
Okay. Amazing. So did you feel that helped you feel more confident in the application process?
yeah, it definitely made me feel more confident. And I think it also, because I knew the company,
Yeah.
and I don't think that ever swayed any decisions, but I felt confident because I knew who was in the room. There was other people, not just Mind the Gap staff, there was other people in the room. But it helped me feel more relaxed, and
Yeah.
that really.
Did you really enjoy what are some of your favorite memories of working on the project?
Favorite memories, when you're doing 100, you have 100 people doing a conga. Now
Yeah.
that is something which was amazing. The first time of seeing baby Eva, who is, so Sarah is the mother, and baby Eva is the 22-foot baby. Um, and so seeing that for the first time and seeing the movements
Yeah.
and the projections of the real parent stories onto the baby
Yeah.
were really special moments during the whole process. And just learning how to become a producer,
Yeah.
an assistant producer, that was important for me personally. So yeah.
What are some of the key things that you learned about producing doing that project?
That no day is the same. That's the one major thing I learned about producing. Um, Also, to come with it with an open mind, and how fun it can be. I think people don't know what a producer does, and I I had experience, but I was getting taught by Lisa Malahan, who gave me such brilliant mentorship and really worked and showed me the ropes and how to work it, and that was important. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah,
No, I think that's amazing. One of the experiences that you have, which I find particularly incredible, is that you're one of the performers at the closing ceremony of the Paralympic Games, which is just amazing. I remember watching that on TV. How was it to be a part of that?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was just one of those experiences that you will never ever forget. I mean, you had Coldplay and Rihanna and JC performing, and you were learning sign language to their songs. So you were learning Jerusalem, I hear Jerusalem,
Yeah.
and you were learning the sign language to it. And the fireworks going up in the air, it was just, yeah, truly amazing. But also a challenging time for me at the same time during that
Yeah.
process.
What did you find challenging?
So, yeah.
What did you, was it being away from home that
Um,
was challenging
it was
or?
the first time I actually moved away from my
Okay.
home. What was that? So,
Sorry, it got a nice glitch there. Um, can you hear me better now?
yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah,
What sort of challenges was it? I know you mentioned to me something about moving. Was it about moving away from home was difficult?
yeah. So it's the first time that I actually moved away from my house. So I had to move to Romford for a whole month and stay in a B&B. And I didn't know anyone in London. So you had your team that you were working with, but you didn't. If you when you had to go back to your B&B, you had no one that you knew.
Yeah.
Um, and so that was a real challenge for me. And just before that happened, my nan had died. So it was a challenging time during everything that was going on in my life personally.
Yeah.
And I had also just worked on another project. And I had like a 2 week rest, and then it was straight to London. So it was a manic time of where I just did not have
Yeah.
the chance to relax and enjoy my other show and then go to this one. It was just like bang bang, and
Yeah.
then yeah.
Do you think this experience made it easier for you to decide to move to Bradford for working with Mind the Gap?
Yeah, I think it definitely had a impact in that decision. I also think it helped my mum
Yeah.
actually see me how I coped. So I think that helped her at the same time.
Yeah, I think that that is so important. So one of the things I really want to talk to you about, we've been asking everyone about this, is what are your sort of first experiences in theatre and your sort of first influences?
So my first real big experience was that I was 10 years old,
Oh,
and
yeah.
a gentleman named Barry Baton and Jeff Witt came to my school
Okay.
and had asked if anyone would be interested in performing in a show called 40 Years On. For some reason, I have still no idea why I done it. I just put my hand up, um, but I forgot to tell my nan and my mum, who I live at the time, who I lived with, um, and then the director rings up and tells my nan that I had put my name down for it, and yeah, and my nan just turned around to him and said, "He can't dance, he can't act, and he can't sing." Um, and the director just turned around and said, "I don't care. He's put his name down for it, so that's it." And if it wasn't for him saying that at the time, I wouldn't be in the industry.
Yeah.
So I have so much to thank Jeff Ripp for and Barry Baton for. Um, Influences, a major one is people like Jamie Bedard and Matt Fraser, um, who I've both had the privilege of working with, um, and them directing me.
Yeah.
So Matt Fraser directed me in a show called Rolling Dot Superstars that pushed me as a performer as he said, do something that's out of your own comfort zone. So I done drag. I was a drag queen.
Amazing.
Um, so I had my own stage name. My name was Petrula Rose. She
Love.
had her own background story. And he just really told me that he wanted me to try and not be Paul, but be a different character.
Yeah.
So he was one of my major ones, and Jamie Bedard, because I've not only got learning disabilities, I've also got cerebral palsy.
Okay.
Um, and Jamie has had a major impact in my whole career. I'm working alongside him. Other people that I really want to make a big deal about is a gentleman called Tony Horrocks, who I worked alongside with a company called Double Act,
Yeah.
which was Dorset's only user-led theatre company. And we are still majorly in contact with each other. He's like one of my best friends. But he also taught me how to slow down my words. I used to, I'm probably doing it right now, so sorry to the viewers. Um, but I had this thing of where I would speak very fast to a state of where no one could understand what I was saying.
Yeah.
And due to the acting, he taught me to slow my words down, and he taught me the skills that I needed.
Yeah.
So
I don't think you speak
yeah,
fast.
Tony had a major and still has a major impact in my life.
I don't think you speak
I,
fast at
I'm
all.
learning. I'm learning not to.
That's
So
really amazing though, if you say that you used to speak really fast, because now I don't think you do at all. So that's amazing that he had such a big influence on you.
yeah, and yeah, we're still working together at the moment. So and that's really nice. So yeah,
You'll keep the contact going.
yeah.
So you had this amazing first experience in theatre, and despite your nan saying, "Oh, he can't do that," you clearly really enjoyed it. What was it, that experience, that made you think, "I want to do this forever. This is what I want to do"? Or when do you think you thought, "I want to work in theatre"?
I think I really decided I wanted to work in theatre when I was told that it's not a proper job. Um, and for me, that really, when someone says, oh, it's not a proper job, or it's, you can't do that, it's not for you, I kind of put the two fingers up to it and say, I can do it and I will do it no matter what.
Yeah,
Um, and so I think that had a major impact on why I wanted to get into the industry, was because
yeah,
people said I couldn't. Um, and I didn't see anyone like me on stage. I still kind of don't.
yeah,
Um, and so I want to change that.
yeah,
And I'm learning that there's so many actors out in the world at the moment, very talented ones as well. But there's not a lot of well, I think I might be the only learning disabled theatre producer
yeah,
in the whole of England.
yeah,
So I'm learning that you can still make an impact in the industry. You don't just need to be an actor to make an impact. There's other roles in the industry that you can still make a major impact in.
yeah. I think a lot of people growing up, they think, "Oh, acting's the only job that you could do in theatre." They don't see these other roles behind the scenes. What made you think, "Oh, producing's what I want to get involved in"?
It's really interesting. I've just looked at an old email that I done in 2009.
Okay.
So I was like 23, and I had said that I wanted to become an assistant producer. I've got no idea what made. I think it was because I got some funding to learn about producing
Okay.
from a place called Coralie. No, not Coralie. It's something like that. But I got some
Yeah.
funding from a place down south, um, and I wanted to learn about the industry. So yeah, I think, um, and I just wanted to change. I just wanted to create change.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's a really good reason, I think, to get into producing. I think producers can have such a massive impact on the change that we see in our theatre. So
yeah.
obviously you had a lot of drive and what you wanted to do. What advice would you give to other young people with learning disabilities who want to get into theatre?
I would definitely say don't be put off and really go for it.
Yeah.
You can only fail in life if you don't challenge yourself.
Yeah.
And we really want to see, I really want to see more young people that actually want to be in the industry, and have, and not be scared. Don't be scared of failing, because you will find someone in the industry that can see your talent.
Yeah.
Um, and that, and everyone's got a talent. No matter what it is, everyone's got a talent. And just by trying and seeing what you're good at, you might be a brilliant actor, but then you might also think, well, there's another brilliant actor, but I could direct that person, or I could produce, or I could work backstage. Look at what's out there. Look at what your unique talent is, and go for it. And um, don't let anyone be your barrier. The
Yeah.
barriers, the barriers are there at the moment. Let's break these barriers. And that's what I was meaning by making space for disabled artists, is that we need to stop making these barriers. The barriers are there. Let's break them. We can't keep um, our young talent down.
Yeah.
This experience about the virus has shown that everyone is coming out and showing new talent out there. And I think that's a major thing. And I can't wait to see the new talent that's going to come through and really shake up this industry.
Yeah. So I know that one of the things that you said that you think might have held you back originally, but you had to get past, was that maybe your family were a bit worried about you getting into the industry. What do you
Yeah.
think you'd say to young people with learning disabilities, to say to maybe their mum or their nan or people in their family who might say, oh, I'm not sure about you doing that?
I would say that the barriers are there, and yeah, it's hard. But I would say to the parents that don't let the fear of not understanding the industry, or not realizing the potential of what there is out there,
Yeah.
um, make you scared. Talk to companies, find out what is out there. Also, like, talk to the people that are out there at the moment. There's people that are so talented, and the parents need to understand that. Don't put the fear that you might have onto the young person.
Yeah.
Um, and that I completely get. And this is nothing about parents, because every parent does an amazing job. And of course, I completely get it. But also just realize that whatever job you've gone into, um, you might have also had those fears,
Yeah.
but we don't put the fears of, um, we seem to put a lot of negativity around learning disability and disability in general.
Yeah.
And I would say, let's stop having that fear of failure, because we all fail in life, if you've got a
Yeah.
disability or if you haven't got a disability. But the biggest failure in life is if you don't try and challenge it.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, I completely get the fears from the parents. I completely get it. And but just try and understand, because if the other child wants to do it, they will find a way. They will find a way. It's always the way. We're children, we're young adults, we're adults. We'll find a way of doing what we want to do in life.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, there's a lot of barriers. A lot of people in the industry don't understand about disabilities. It's a fact. Um, but let's change that. Let's change the industry. Um, I also work as an agent for change at Leeds Playhouse.
Oh,
I'm furloughed from there at the moment, so I won't be talking a lot about that. But what I will say about that
cool.
is, we want people in the industry. We want to learn. We want to get people working backstage, working front of house, working on our stages, and we want to listen. That's a major thing. Let's start listening to what our audience wants and our actors wants, and let's not just be an industry where we've gone in the past. We've had the past. Now let's look to the future. And the young people on here that's going to be listening to this are going to be a major influence in this industry. And also writers and reviewers.
Yeah.
Um, I really want reviewers to stop being scared about criticising learning disability and disability work. The only way that disability work's going to get any better is if you do critique it like you would critique any other show.
Yeah. So, final question. I think that this has been a really inspiring interview for me, and I think that people are going to find a lot in it that they're going to find really useful. What do you think is your proudest moment, the thing that you've worked on or that you've done that you're the most proud of?
Proudest, I would say, would definitely be Sarah.
Yeah.
But I'm also working on another project which um, is called Anna.
Okay.
And that's a foreign theatre piece that I've been working on. And I've been the understudy for that. And I think that's a one that is something that people would be surprised about, because you go for, when you say proudest, you always go for the big stuff.
Yeah.
But this was literally doing foreign theatre and helping create industry change and seeing what the problems were.
Yeah.
And Anna's part of the Daughters of Fortune project. So that was that's one of my things that I really enjoy as a performer, and creating my own show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've created my own show called A Long Way From Home, which is around mental health, bullying and rejection. And I got funding from the Arts Council and from Art Stockton
Okay.
to do two R&D sessions, to do two R&D weeks on that. And so yeah, that's probably one of my proudest, is actually creating my own semi-biographical show.
That's amazing. I have had such a nice time interviewing you today. And I love your
Thanks,
shirt.
Leah.
Your shirt is amazing. It's really fun.
Thanks.
I feel like you upstage me, my outfit isn't as good as yours. But thank you
Your
so
outfit's
much.
nice too. It's all right.
I can't wait for people to watch this. And thank you so much for your time and for sharing your stories with us.
That's all right. And thank you very much for having me. And yeah, to all the young people, just go out and enjoy it. And we will get through all this.
Yeah.
And come back to the theatre. The theatres will be back open.
Yeah.
And we want you as audiences, we want you as participants, and yeah, let's create change.
Thank you so much, Paul. Bye.
It's all right. Bye.